So today we are going to discuss about internet security architectures, research issues. So what do you mean by internet security architectures? Till today we have only seen the TCP/IP architecture, right? Wherein we have the formats of IPv4 headers and IPv6 headers and addressing formats, the address values which we have seen till today. Then why I am specifying as architectures? So is there any specific thing where I'm going to use this? So that all we are going to see in this presentation. So before going to that specific part, I just want to go through what are the security attacks which are happening and what are the things, just overview. That will make you to realize the importance of it and why we are looking for the security architectures. Okay. So actually TCP/IP was started into the communication in 1970s and where has been adopted as a protocol in 1983. But although this has been implemented in the real time, so the people started facing the issues of security. So once actually it was developed only for the lab purpose for the exchange of files. Slowly when it has been introduced as a protocol in 1983, people started realizing that there is a requirement of security, which they haven't introduced at the starting development of the architecture. So this is the overview of the TCP/IP, which we are using as a communication protocol. So why we are talking about cyber security then? So is there any difference between cyber security and network security? Yes, definitely. Cyber security is protecting of the devices which are present in the network, which are holding your information and transferring. Whereas network security is the network devices which are involved in the network, so that the information where we are storing exactly. So those information protection, we call it as network security. So what is the purpose of this cyber security, network security, information security, all these words? So as you can see in this diagram, within 1 second, internet is increasing like hell with the people usage. So this is how we are introducing internet to each and every part of our life. We are giving more importance to internet than our friends and relatives who are next to us. We are trying to talk to them using internet. So that is a way now it is moving towards the internet usage. Even the IoT devices are using internet. Even the hospital people are using internet. So each and every place for shopping, for health, for even for the doctor consultancy, even for the exchange of goods, everywhere, everything we are using internet. Even for the research purpose, we will use the internet only. So as we are very much confident that internet has much of the information which will be helpful for our work. So this is how we are completely dependent on the internet. So what happens then? So the moment you are dependent on the internet, the evil internet has started. So as soon as you are using internet, the people started digging the loopholes, then they started collecting the money. This is a picture where 2008 cost of cyber crime. So the total cost is somewhere around $600 billion for the total cost when you go for the victims, 2.7 million per day. And per minute it has been recorded as 1,861. So whereas the ransomware records are 2.9 billion per year and 5,518 per minute. Over here, how many participants have experienced the Amazon account balance losing? It's a live example. One of our faculty in our campus have lost the amount in Amazon. So she has been added the amount to the Amazon account and suddenly it got deleted. So when it has been noted by the Amazon, she has reported that to the Amazon. They have just simply told, no, it has been transacted by you. So as there is no proof, nothing can be done. So this is how. So yesterday the crime forensics will come into picture when we are entering into that area, like how the loopholes have been created and how this amount got deducted. So this is how we are, like, as we are dependent more on the internet, even the attackers are dependent on our loopholes. So that is why we say that we should be very much careful. So the first internet attack has been, the Kevin David has been arrested in 1995 and he has been imprisoned for 5 years for various crimes, computer related crimes. But now he is running a computer security consultant author, whereas he has been imprisoned for 5 years, but after coming out from the prison, now he is a CEO for that company. So this is how the people who have hacked the systems, they have become the company holders and they are able to detect the security attacks. So the other one is the Levin, who has just sat in front of his dad gifted computer and he has done a fraud of 10.7 millions using the Citibank's computers. So he has attempted to do the fraud of $10.7 million. Just imagine, just sitting at home where his dad has just gifted a computer for the general purpose and he has attacked the Citibank's computer and he has stolen the $10.7 million. So this is one more example in Russia. And one more is the Scottish Systems Administrator. He was accused in 2002 for hacking the military computers all at once. It is nearly up to 1,000 systems at once, and he has completely destroyed the information. The confidential information of the military computers were destroyed. So for that purpose, he has been accused, but still, once the imprisonment is over, they are coming out. They are again their own way. So whether they are working on the, they are taking as a, they will become as a consultant or they will again start their own way, right? So this is the one more attack which has happened in 1999, DOS attack. So which has caught the national attentions. So it has been performed on the e-commerce websites, and it has, all the websites were off for that particular moment. So it couldn't able to make the services to all the customers who have sent the request. And the one more attack which has been happened in the transportation is 27/11/2016, where less than 2,000 devices were compromised and all devices got the message as all data hacked. You have been hacked. All data is encrypted. If you want this, you have to send a ransom of 100 bitcoins. Clear? So this has been happened in San Francisco. So this is the first the internet under search. So Yahoo, sorry. Yahoo, Amazon, the other e-websites which have been had a massive DOS attack. Then the attack received the attention of President Clinton and attorney so that they can come up with a solution. And they found that 15-year-old kid could launch these attacks if nothing has been taken care of. So this is how they have come up, like after observing all the attacks, when they approach the cyber forensics people, so they have come across that even the 15-year-old kid can launch these kind of attacks, as there is no proper security services have been dumped into those websites. This is one of the thing which has come up in February 9th. Actually, the attack was on February 7th to 9th. And by 9th, once they have come up, so they have declared, the director of NIPC has declared that even a 15-year-old kid can launch the attacks. Okay. So US Federation Bureau of Investigation officials have estimated the attacks has caused nearly 1.7 billion in damage. Only for those 7 to 9 days of attack. From 7th to 9th day of the attack.
Chi-square value from here, compare it with tabulated value, or this is the second this thing that the significance. Both will give the same results. It's
Hello.
Just way of.
Please, can you mute your mic? Yeah. Next one is this slammer worm. It has infected 90% of the within 10 minutes. It has infected the system and damaged the 90% of the information. It has interference with the elections, cancelled the airline flights, 911 emergency services have been affected, 13,000 banks of ATM got failed. Banks of America's ATMs got failed. No malicious, it was observed that there was no particular load on any place so that they can detect and they can say that there is a DOS attack. Smoothly they have conducted and it just happened and without anybody's notice. So this is how the productivity loss has been noticed. And the another one is in July 2002, bankruptcy was declared by the WorldCom. It has carried about 13% to 50% of global internet traffic at that particular moment. So this is how the vulnerabilities are just taking place and just moving off. And to be frank, the vulnerability, the worms or virus which have been introduced into your system, they cannot be erased or they cannot be removed until unless their administrator has fixed a time, and as the date or time expires, then only they go into a kill mode or a sleep mode. Okay. So this is, everybody knows about this. What happened on September 11? So the wireless tower of the top Trade Center destroyed, right? So they have complete cut in the internet over there, so that no one can able to get the communication what is happening. So rescue efforts have been tampered and severe damages have been occurred. So that was a great damage where no one can they are unable to recover, right? So this is how the news have come. The Stuxnet destroyed the 5th nuclear centrifuge. So yesterday, on the first day, we have seen how security threats can affect the nuclear power plant. So these are the things which we have come across. I've just summarized everything. Just you can just go through the cyber attack on the German steel mill, which has affected completely. It has shut down whole mill, and the great loss was occurred. It couldn't able to recover until unless the security experts have come and they have recovered. They have told that this is the exact problem. So UAE, a target of 5% of the global cyber attacks. So this is how the information has been released by the people at that particular time in 2014 and 16, saying that these are the things which are under attacks. So energetic bear attacking Western energy sector, hacking into the home's smart home security flaws found in popular systems. So this is how the security trends happen, the top security trends of 2019. First one is the calming pain of GDPR. So the protection has been the threat. The simple virus has been introduced into it so that the whole GDPR can be destroyed. So where it has to send the malware so that they are taken care of. Second one is the increase in sabotage, espionage, and the crime by rogue nation states. What do you mean by this? Sometimes we depend on the security experts to detect the breach, right? So what happens to our system, what has happened, like how, when it got all the affected things, the files, everything got affected, we are going to we are going to rely on a person. So at that particular moment, the person will clear everything, but he has a right to introduce one more worm or one virus into your system so that they can grab the information. Next one is dark ages of single password, factor passwords. Nowadays, we are using double authentication, sometimes triple authentication and all. But in the previous, but still for some of the applications, we still use single authentication, single factor passwords only. Not the multi-factor authentication is not required for some of the applications. For the bank applications and all, we require the multi-factor authentications. So we are applying, but some of the other applications where we require even your mobile. If you don't have the password, I mean, we use only single password. That is, once we enter into the system, then everything is open. So first entry, that your fingerprint or your password, that's more than enough. But it's not enough. We should have a separate password for each and every application which you feel that is important for you. So in that way, if you maintain, if you provide the multi-factor authentications, then it will be the risk of your risk for your information will be decreased. Next one is insecure clouds. As we have discussed, like insecure clouds, I can take the example of yesterday's discussion, what Digambar sir has discussed. So the information has been stored in the clouds without any proper encryption techniques, so that that can be hacked by the attackers and they can leak the information outside. So growth of cyber hygiene. So do we really go with the standard methods or softwares which we buy and protect our system? We go with the pirated software. So in that way, we are giving a way for the people to come and hack our system. Malware challenges. So these are the malware which we are going to introduce, and they are the new ones. So with the help of pen drives, with the help of mails, by clicking on the links and all. So indirectly, we are introducing those malwares into our system. So increased risk with the bad housekeeping and shadow IT systems. So nowadays, we are working from home. Even many of the participants who are attending the workshop, they are using the home broadband. But how many people have a separate password, separate username and password for these systems? So did they divide their username password into two parts, where it can be used for personal as one and for the official as one? No one. Answers will be no. So immediately, if you are using only one account for both, please divide into two. Use a separate account for your official purpose and for the personal purpose. And don't keep much of the information in your personal things or in official, so that even if one gets hacked, so you can save the other. So personal household accounts can be hacked very quickly because of less security methods. Okay, so it is better to have a separate account so that you can have, like, even if your household account has been into attack, then you can save your official or confidential information. Clear? So next comes IoT. So each and every household nowadays, we have the households, IoT based household sensors. Even for the opening of the fridge, switch on the AC, switch off the AC, heater, everything, right? So all these are vulnerable for the attacks. How many people have seen these security measures have been provided for the sensors? And how much secure are these sensors? They can be easily hacked by any attacker. They can control the sensors in your house and they can ask for ransomware. Clear? So one more is boardroom security, cyber security. So this has been from 2019, it has been done. So with the boards demanding understanding and clarity in the area, which often delegated the subcomponents. So unseen nightmare of DDoS attacks. So distributed attacks is a dirty secret of many of the organizations, which will happen in a fractions of seconds. So they are growing. They are just growing day by day. They are not like, okay, this moment it has been happened, so let's stop it. It's nowhere related. Some DOS attack prevention technique comes into market, immediately one more attack comes into picture. So this is how the system works. So this is the topmost breached industries. So these are the topmost breached industries in 2019. So these are the first one comes as the healthcare and the accommodations and food services, public administration, retail, finance, and professional services. Almost all these services we use in day-to-day life. So, and all these have been hacked. So just imagine, so whatever we are using in day-to-day life, they have been hacked. Then what is the purpose of that internet, or what is the purpose of those services which we are using? When we don't have the confidentiality and security for those services, then what is the use of using those services? So in order to gain the confidentiality of the customers, so they are introducing the one-way authentication, two-way authentication processes. So in simple format, we can say as multi-factor authentication mechanisms. So in order to, for the finance, you can take it as a multi-factor. First, you will give your username and password once you enter. If you want to perform some transactions, again, you have to give one more authentication in the form of a password. Then, if you are performing some transaction, you will get the OTP. Then, once you get the OTP and once you enter that OTP, then only transaction happens. But whether that is solving our purpose, all the attacks, is that enough for us? Absolutely no. Even though we are using the multi-factor authentication mechanism, still the attackers are more smarter than the preventers, right? So we can say that still we have to work on it, still we have to come up with new techniques. So this is how the example I've taken of the finance. Similarly, you can go with retail. Similarly, you can go with healthcare or public administration or professional services, any kind of service. So this is the crime rate. So whatever the top I have indicated. So this is how they have been captured, and the attacks are under targets. Okay. Industry, government, entrepreneurs. In short, I have just told us professional services. Here we have mentioned education, online services, and goods. Okay. So as internet is highly globally connected, the worms and viruses are very easy to get into it from the vulnerable host, because anybody can be the host for the virus. And once that person becomes the host for that particular system, he will or she will transfer the system with the help of pen drives, with the help of mails, or any other way. So hackers can looking for easy targets. So that's why we say that even your login and all these things, they will say that you should have the capital letters, special characters, and so on. But still they are not solving the problem. Still, up to some level, we are gaining a confidence saying that, okay, if we have this kind of information, okay, we can trust that particular system. Okay, the simple salt method has been used for your password storage in the network, in the database, so that whenever you retrieve, the password will be matched with the salt data with the database, and it will be retrieved. Okay. So this is the major problem. So we are directly or indirectly, everywhere we are dependent on internet. So for the communication, for the commerce, control systems, information, entertainment, sensitive data stored on the internet. We feel that data stored in pen drive or hard disk or anywhere, we don't feel that much safe. So one copy we try to save it in the cloud or in mail. Even though it is a sensitive data, we try to store there, but it is not safe at all. So try not to store any such kind of a data in any data in anywhere. Try to have it in your hard drives or pen drives and keep it separate. Don't mix. Okay. So security was not priority when the system was designed. So they have given priority for this all other things, that is cost, speed, convenience, open architectures, and backward compatibility, but nowhere they have considered the security. That's the reason now we are facing much of the security problems. So this is the there are no metrics to measure the security. Internet is inherently international. Private sector owns most of this infrastructure. So security gaps. How to build up the security gaps? Who is going to pay more? Over here, many people are using 1 GB or 2 GB of internet per day, and they are ready to pay 100 rupees or 200 rupees. Oh, let us suppose 500 in common. If a person comes and says that from today onwards, the cost has been increased because of the security services we are providing, but the data which we provide you is 2 GB only for 500 rupees. Instead of 500 rupees, you are supposed to pay 700 rupees. Many of the people, they will stop that service provider and they will approach the another service provider. But no one will think or no one will ask what kind of security services you are providing. And that will, some service providers genuinely they will provide the security services. As this person has increased to 700 rupees from 500 to 700, rest all will also follow the same path. But whether they are providing the, simply they will say that BSNL service provider has increased the cost, so we are also increasing. Just moving into it. But what are the security preventive measures they are providing that no one is interested? So this is how the business goes on. Some people will decrease the cost, some people will increase the cost, but in order to go into the business and have the profits, they will just move along with the flow, but no one will able to come into it along with the proper security. Who is ready to pay? That is a major question. Okay. The businesses of a high level, they will pay, they will have the confidentiality of the information until unless the insider attack will happen. The insider, in the sense, the person who is inside the organization will capture some information or get a pen drive from outside and inserts the virus, then only something can happen. Else it won't happen. Okay. This is how the business people will come forward to take the security measures. So these are the this level of dependence makes the internet to target. So with the help of these are the things which have come into picture, that is cyber warfare, cyber terrorism, and cyber hooliganism. And a weak spot of accidents and the failure. So here the asymmetric attack is nothing. What do you mean by asymmetric attack? So we have heard about asymmetric keys, right? 2 keys and so that we will use for encryption and decryption. One side for the encryption, one key for the encryption and the other key for the decryption, right? Then what about asymmetric attack? Anybody in the chat box? So fast, so that we can further move. Anybody? Using low level resources of attack. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely true. Then what about cyber hooliganism? So it's a new word, right? It's a part of cyber terrorism. Okay. So this all will lead to have a solution where we should have a right technology and right public policy. That is a very challenging issue in current day. Cyber security challenge exists with when you where you will say who is going to decide that this is the right technology or this is the public policy which we all have to follow. There is no such thing exists because according to the company they will have their own public policy. According to, like, let us suppose education institute, they have their own public policy. The healthcare, they have their own public policy. This is how we are just running it. Some people, they don't even use any public policy. So the internet connectivity, yeah, once it has been given, everything is open. They can use. That's the reason people say that don't use the internet at the Wi-Fi connection in your cyber in the coffee shops and all other public areas. They will give you the information, the username and password. It is available. It is, once you log into it, the whole of your mobile or your laptop will be under their control if you have weak security in your system. Clear? So that's the reason we should be very much careful when we are going for the use the internet in the public places. So why should cyber security be our top priority? In 2019, they have described the crimes which have happened so that we should able to, based on those crimes, the number of crimes which have increased by 2019, they have told that everyone who are using internet have to have the security policies. Okay. So this is how the list of the things which have come. So you can just go through. 43% of security breaches occurred at small businesses. 56 data breaches took more than a month to discover. 60 million records have been breached due to misconfigured cloud. So configuration of the system is also very, very important. So that's the reason when we say that you have been installed, whether that is a genuine software or not, that you need to verify. Okay. So this is how the breaches have been increased and still increasing. Okay. So what do you mean by cyber security then? So it's a part of cryptography, it is cyber warfare, secure software development, Internet of Things. Cyber security is important in all the areas, right? So applied network security, secure mobile computing, cloud security, embedded systems, cyber risk management. So all these things require the security concept to secure our devices, right? So this is how we are moving towards the security concepts. These are the concepts which everybody knows. Just overview. So I thought let us have this. The security concepts. Okay. Core and design concepts. So core, these are the 6 security concepts. Core security, which we require: confidentiality, integrity and availability, authentication, authorization and accountability. So these are the design. When you are going to design any architecture, you are supposed to include the security into it as one of the key ingredient. Okay, then only your whole software will be secure and safe. Okay. So for that purpose, we should go into the concepts. One way to think about this, you can say security as availability, integrity, and secrecy of information systems and networks in the face of attacks, accidents and failures with the goal of protecting operations and assets. Still, we are framing the definition of cyber security. So with respect to cooperative, then the cyber security definition varies. With respect to national level, the security varies. The context of that cyber security differs from corporate to the national level. Okay, so you can just read the definition: availability, integrity, same thing, but where we require with the goal of protecting a corporation's operations and assets. When you go for national cyber security context, then we say with the goal of protecting a nation's operations and assets. Okay. So this is the attack life cycle, where first it will penetrate the attack, the virus or the operation which has to infect into your system. That is a penetration process. It will enter with the help of a pen drive, with the help of any kind of stuff, by a mail or by a link or anything. Then it will perform the hacking operation. It will perform from hours to days and weeks. And once it has performed, its work is done. When sometimes it is very rare that we are going to detect it when it is in active mode. But once it becomes sleep mode, or if it kills by itself, then only the breach will be detected. So by the time the damage will be done. Okay. So this is how happens. So this is how the external recon will enter into the system. So once the penetration happens, the foothold will be created, and once the foothold in that particular system has been created, then it will be treated as an internal recon. So once the internally, now it has a complete freedom to enter into any particular system or any kind of moment it can perform. So it will fetch the data, then it will perform the data exfiltration. It will damage the system up to a level where it will send the information to the respective administrator or the owner. Then it will self-destruct. So these are everybody knows about these. So nothing new in that. So these are the 7 layers of TCP IP. So OSI model. So all these layers have some kind of connectivity, some kind of protocols which we are interlinked with each other layer, so that in order to perform the operations properly, right? So once those things are interlinked, then what about so these are the various protocols which have been dumped into the layers. Although there is a requirement, although there is no requirement, to overcome one security attack, we are going to dump some security protocol measures. So once we find another security loophole, we are going to dump some other security measure. So in this way, we are just increasing the protocols in the architecture layer by layer. If you see the network layer, our glass architecture has been converted into something else. This is how the set of protocols are increasing at layer by layer. But although the protocols are increasing, so we have the attacks. So this is how the attacks are occurring. Okay. So you can just see spoofing, sniffing, man-in-middle attack, reconnaissance, DOS attack, hijacking, phishing, exploit. So these are the various attacks which are happening, right? Layer-wise. So these are the various challenges which exist. The number of trends which illustrate the security importance. So speed of attacks, sophistication of the attacks, faster detection of the weaknesses, distributed attacks, and difficulties of the patching. So these are the threat profiles. So ransomware, trojans, Android malware, ATM malware, botnets, even cryptocurrency mining malware, exploit kits, industrial control, iOS malware, Mac OS malware, point of scale. All these are the threat profiles which are able to enter into your system and capturing the information. So this is the overview of the ransomware, how it works. First one is, what is ransomware? Everybody knows. So I'm just going through it so that you can already you have studied all these things in the previous sessions. So I'm not going to deal with a lot about these things, but I'm going to deal with the security architectures. So this is how the ransomware looks. So this is how it works for the Trojan. So this is how the botnet, and this is how it consists of. It creates the zombies and it will enter into the other systems and try to grab the information. Once the attack happens successfully, it will kill by itself. The attack, I'm saying about the attacks, various attack. So the viruses, once the zombies once enter into the system, they kill by themselves. Once the attack has been accomplished, the information has been forwarded to the attacker, everything is done, then they will destroy. So this is how happens: infection, connection, control, and multiplication of the malwares. So creation of the botnets, then it has been spread so many places that they will infect all the systems which are present in nearby that particular network. Then after the exchange of the information and the communication, they will destroy themselves. So anatomy of a botnet attack, from criminal to the target. So this everything almost similar in the form of you can just see how the personal computers have been affected. Then who is the exact target? Target is sitting in the house. That generally we can take this example for your work from home situation, where people doesn't have the separate accounts and only one system they are using for both personal and the official work. So this is a perfect example for them. So there is a possibility of botnet attacks to happen. So what is malvertising? So these are the advertisements which we are going to send to the customers, and once they click on that code or once they visit that particular website, then the malware will be installed and it will start its own work. So this is how malicious bidding will happen. But all the attackers will come into one place and they will bid for that particular malware. Then whoever wins, they will get that malware and they will start, and they have the freedom to attack that particular area of systems. Okay. So, and it is very hard to catch, as once it performs its operation, it will destroy by itself. Okay. So phishing, everybody knows. What is the effect of that phishing also everybody knows. We have discussed in all the previous sessions. So this is how the DOS attack with a high level analysis. So first one is your definition, then the motivation, financial motivations, political and ideological motivations, extortion, diversion to cover from the cyber attacks, competitive rivalry, vandalism, accidents due to misconfiguration, and others. The type of attacks is volumetric attacks, application layer attacks, state exhaustion or protocol attacks, advanced persistent DOS attacks, DOS as a service. Defense attacks, so application front end, black holing, sinkholing, IPS. So these are the various defense techniques which are available, but still the targets are, these are the targets. Okay. So although we have the solutions, still we are facing on those problems. Okay. So these are the level of attackers. Tier 1 attackers to Tier 6 attackers exist. And these are the, you can consider these comes under the various level crime groups, activists, hacktivists. So organized crime groups, there are many high level organizations which are government supports them. So in Korea, there is one such organization which government itself supports, and recently we had that attack. That same organization has hacked the Indian websites, the China apps which we are using. It has been hacked by the Korean hackers. Recently, just in June 26th, it has been attacked. Then afterwards, they have come up like that's the reason, not June 26th, in month of June itself. It has been attacked, and that's the reason they have banned all the China apps, because they have the loopholes. Much of the loopholes exist in that apps because they have just developed the apps. They didn't think about security measures which has to be provided in that particular app. Okay, so that's the reason the apps have been banned now. Even the Zoom app was banned. It's not banned exactly. We can say that they asked not to use that app for some reasons of security reasons. Later again, people started using because they have provided some security over their security measures. Then they started using that app also. So these are the changing of attacker profiles. First, it will be a recreational. From there, he will become the criminal. So he will become a hacktivist, and then the organized crime and state-sponsored crime person. Okay. So these are the common cyber attacks, reducing the impact. 81% of the large companies reporting the breach. So these are the first one is the survey, delivery, breach, then affect the system. Then again, we are performing the stages of cyber attack. So first it will affect, it will do the survey, then it will deliver the malwares, then the breach happens totally, then the effect will come into the picture. Okay. So these are the cyber risk index elevated, cyber risk index. So human capital risk, lack of spending on recruiting and retaining the security personals, lack of spending on educating the employees about the security requirements, infrastructure risk, cyber risk, data risk, and operational risk. These are the various risks which are associated with the cyber risk index, which are very much important in order to avoid the zero-day attacks, your DOS attacks, intellectual attacks. So these are the very important for the protection of an organization. So they have to make aware, everybody has to be aware of what kind of security measures have been taken care by the organization and how much risk they have and what kind of data they can store and what kind of data they are not supposed to store in that particular devices. And if all of a sudden there is a risk or there is an attack which happens in that particular infrastructure, then what kind of measures, immediate measures, what they are supposed to take. This kind of awareness is very much important in all the organizations, okay? Whether it is educational, industrial, anywhere. So this is the thing which has to be taken care. So these are some of the 10 malwares which have been reported in February 2020. So you can just go through. So this is how the thing has been done. So from the February to September, the malwares have been dropped. Then from some malwares have been dropped, some have become multiple, and some are mal spam. So these are the definitions of your dropped, multiple, mal spam, and the network. So malware delivered by other malware already in the system and exploit kit. So they are being dropped by some way. So they will find some way to enter into the system. So it may be using the exploit kit, it may be a third-party software. Some with the help of a pen drive, with the help of any kind of thing. So cyber threat attacker has entered into your cabin or into your office, and while discussing something, you have told that I have some software which I'm using, and that is a ethical one, and that is like it's a genuine one. In terms of, not to use the ethical word, we can say as genuine one. Then the person is very much interested and they have told that I want the software, can you give it? I'll use it for my system. So you, as a friend or as a colleague, you have just given that, and but that whatever the pen drive you are taking that from that person, it may have the malware. It may have some virus. Okay, this is how the malwares can be dropped into the system. So this the multiple refers to the malware that currently favors at least two vectors. So it will multiple by itself, okay, within the system, or it will spread to the organization. In the attack cycle, when we have seen that lateral movement that comes under the multiple level. Okay, mal spam is nothing but unsolicited mails, which either direct users can download the malware from the websites, or the links which you will get in the form of a attachment, or you will be asked to open that particular link in order to see something. So in that way, it will enter. So network is nothing but the malware introduced through the abuse of legitimate network protocols or the tools, okay, such as SMB or remote PowerShell. So these are the 10 top malware: Zio, Server, Nanocore, Drydex, CryptoWall, Counter, CoinMiner, Ghost, Nemocord, Ornif. So these are the various softwares which have been, top malwares which have been introduced into the systems, and they have made lots of loss for the organization. So in order to overcome all these things, first, when we are designing any network or a software, first we need to go through the security objectives. Whether we require security, then at what level we require that security, so that we can secure the softwares, okay, the architectures, or your clusters, your cloud, your IoT devices, anything, okay. So for that purpose, we require the main objectives of the security. So these are the objectives of the security. Security modules should be flexible and extendable. So all the security modules or the protocols, you can say as protocols or the modules. So whatever are available, can you able to extend them? Can you add some add-ons to the security protocols? Very rarely. In terms of patches, in terms of add-ons, we will just add it, but very rarely, right? So so it should be very much flexible, and it should be able to extend. It should be easily understandable by the person, so that they can extend it and they can add their own code in order to recover some from possible attacks. Okay, that is the first objective. So I have developed a security protocol, so I should only know it. So I am making it as a rigid protocol, and I'm dumping into the architecture. It will detect only 2 or 3 kinds of attacks, and it will prevent those 3 attacks. That's more than enough for me. I will gain the profit. But that is a way, that is a tendency of a business person who is going to develop that particular security module. So, but if that person extendable, then all the researchers will able to take that particular security protocol. They can come up with expandable or extendable secure mechanism, and they can introduce, they can take it version 1, version 2, they can introduce that into the same layer again, so that it can overcome some possible attacks. Okay. So communication that takes place across the network must be free from attacks like eavesdropping, modification, DOS attack, etc. So comma has been missed, modification and DOS attack, etc. So the architecture that is flexible and loosely coupled should be robust from attacks. So whatever the security modules you are going to develop, that they should be robust from the attack. They should able to protect themselves. They should not make the attacker to take those protocols and include their attacking code into it and then release it into the network. Architecture must able to recover from possible attacks, as we have discussed. Different architectures follow different security policies that are to be supported. Yes, the basic services like authentication, confidentiality, trust, integrity are to be made available. According to the requirements of the user, different levels of security has to be provided. This anyways, last point is already present in the current architecture. So these are the security requirements along with the 6 security principles. So confidentiality, integrity, privacy, non-repudiation, ID management, access control, detection, recovery, security management, and authentication. Okay. So in order to come up with the security, as I have told that the TCP/IP has come and adopted by all in 1983, but the researchers have discovered when it has been in the lab level itself in 1970s, testing level, then they have discovered that they haven't noticed the requirements of security in the particular architecture. So there they have come up with the different architectures in 1970s itself. After the introduction of TCP/IP, within 2 or 3 years, they have come up with an architecture called as role-based architecture. So where the roles have been decided, and based on that, they have been provided the security services. So we will see in detail. So before that, that is so in order to overcome some of the security, whatever the current problems we are facing, all around the world, people have come together and started designing different internet architectures. So where they have included the security as a prior ingredient, and they started designing the architectures. So there are 3 methods which they have discovered, saying that, okay, these are the 3 methods by which we can create or develop an architecture. That is, we can go with a clean state approach or evolutionary approach and re-engineering approach. So the clean state approach is nothing but designing from the scratch. That is, you leave the TCP/IP, you design a complete new architecture along with the security, and where you can create a flexible architecture, okay, giving the priority to the security, and along with that, you can provide flexible services to the customers and they can be happy with that. Okay, design from the scratch. It will take time. I'm not saying it's not a time, it's a time consuming problem, but still many have come forward to apply the first approach. Using the first approach, they have, I'll show you the architectures which have come forward. So in the level by level, further slides. So next one is the evolutionary approach. So you have to search line by line and try to modify the protocol. But in the current TCP architecture, we don't have this option. So some of the protocols we can take from TCP/IP, search line by line. Those protocols we can use for the new architectures which we are developing. Okay. So you need to have that flexibility. So that is the reason I have mentioned in the objectives of security as first one as the protocol should be flexible and able to be extendable. Okay. And the re-engineering is nothing but allow the protocols to add extensions. How many security protocols you are able to add the extensions? No protocol. All the protocols are coming into the market. They are dumping into the architecture to provide security, but you are not able to take the, if you see, if you see, take the after presentation when I provide the slides, if you go through the our model, what I have shown, our model, okay, if you go through there, the application layer has the same protocol and the network layer also has the same protocol. So there is no, it is not required actually. So as we are just dumping the same protocols into the each and every layer, the TCP architecture, it's losing its identity. For what purpose it has been designed, it is losing the identity of its original purpose. So that's a reason we are saying that methods to overcome that originality. Okay, to overcome the TCP IP losing originality. So first one is the role-based architecture. It follows the heap method instead of the stack. The TCP IP follows the stack method so that the information, like whatever you know it, right? There is no need for me to explain. So it follows the heap instead of stack as followed by TCP for the flow of information. Okay. So encryption and authentication are treated as one role. So always whatever the information you are sending from one layer to the other layer. So this encryption and authentication, they have been given as one particular protocol. It has been designed as one particular protocol. Encapsulations reserved and has a special building block which takes care of forwarding and packet processing. So this is the architecture. Everything is being treated as a role, and we have the networks, the security modules are also in form of a roles. Each and every header, whatever we are going to send it, so there it will decide the role ID based on the role ID. It will decide where it has to be forwarded and who has the authority to see that particular information. So next comes the atomic network architecture. It is a separation of the mechanics from networking logic. Okay, it is an example of network meta architecture. What do you mean by meta architecture? So please answer. Renewed architecture, or it's a complete formation of new, you can say it's a renewed form of TCP IP. It extracts and refracts core networking concepts to support the heterogeneous addressing and naming of network nodes and the networks. System has got evolvability and dynamic reconfiguration capability. So this is how it will use the compartments in order to transfer the information from one node to the other node. Okay. So this is the, you can say that ANA, this node is one architecture, TCP IP architecture in one system, and this is another one which is in the another system. So you can say that ANA architecture, when it has been communicated, so this is how it will follow the compartments and it will send the information from data from one node to the other node. Okay. So next comes the recursive network architecture. This is a completely new approach developed based on these two. It has considered these two architectures, that is RBA and ANA architecture, and this has been developed. It uses the dynamic service composition. Okay, here the main concept is like I don't have a protocol. Let us suppose I don't have RSA encryption method with me, but the other person is using a RSA encryption method so that he can send, or AES method to encrypt the information and send it to me. I don't have the AES method. Then when the other person the other system wants to communicate with my system, first the information has been sent that do you have the AES encryption method? If the system replies yes, then it will send the encrypted information to that particular system. Or if it says no, I don't have AES and I have somebody some RSA, BES, etc., etc., then the information will be passed to that particular system. Then the system will say, no, I don't have those particular encryption methods, so I will send you the AES method to you. You just store it until unless you get the information. Once the information has been dumped to your system, once you decrypt it, once your work is done, then the AES algorithm will be destroyed. I don't want, my system doesn't require that particular algorithm. I'm going for a high level algorithm. I have I'm using double asymmetric method. So I will use the RSA method. I don't want to go with symmetric algorithms. So in that way, I'll just use for that particular temporarily, I'll use for that particular method for that particular service in terms of service. So we will use for that particular service. Then once the service has been fulfilled, that system will be losing that information. Okay. Oh, sorry, it has some problem. Another one is Genie architecture or FIND architecture, you can say. This is the future internet design, one of the major project under the US National Science. So when the people when people have come forward with the different architectures and they started pointing out the TCP/IP, then the future internet design from the US National Science have come up with an architecture called Genie architecture. So they have aimed to design, develop, and implement of a realistic large-scale open experimental facility for the evolution of new network architecture, services, and applications. So this organization, US National Science Foundation, they have come forward and they told that, okay, whatever currently we are using the TCP/IP architecture, so we will provide a platform where you can just check or you can evaluate your new architectures and the services and applications, and if that suits, why we should completely violate TCP/IP. Let us experiment with that particular bed, on that particular bed. If that suits and if it gives the proper results, then we will try to eliminate the TCP/IP and we will try to enter with the new architectures. But it is very difficult to take out the TCP from the whole world, because all world, everything is using the TCP/IP architecture. So I'll give you one example how the TCP/IP has been is not used and where it has been used. That I'll just take the best example, live example, which is currently going on in the further discussions. So this is one more architecture, policy-oriented naming. These all the architectures where they have come up, they have not only the architectural issues they want to solve with respect to TCP/IP, but they want to solve the security issues also with respect to the TCP/IP. So they have come up with a dynamic, secure, and heterogeneous architecture that will support the innovations and implementations of policies at the end and core of the system. This uses the advanced mechanisms. It will support the advanced mechanisms of security like biometrics, larger key size, and the tokens. So this is another architecture, service-oriented network architecture, where all the services are very freely available in the form of a blocks. So these blocks, the person, the agent, the person who is going to have the selection and composition of the processes, they will decide that what kind of a service or what kind of an encryption method I need to use in order to send it to the other system. So if you see this whole thing is one system, and this side, the service provider exists where it will be from here, it will be taken and delivered to another server, another system. Instead of server, we can say as sometimes this will behave as a server also. So that's the reason I have told as a server. So whatever the services which are not available at this particular point, so I have informed you that it will fetch from that particular system and it will take it and it will it will then dump into the particular service system. Then once the work is done, then it will get removed. So this is how the process will happen. First, the requirements are gathered, then the services will be composed, then with the help of the blocks which are present within that particular system. It's a distributed network. Each and every system will be treated as a particular Sonata system. Okay, in short, I'm saying service-oriented network architecture system. Okay, so whatever it has, if it wants to communicate with this particular, then it has to send. It will ask the services whether it has or not. Then it will send the information to this particular system. This is how this is a Europe, Germany-based architecture. They are working and they have come up with it. Please mute your mic. So this is how the communication takes place. So this is another architecture. Please mute your mic. Abba sir, can you mute that person? So next comes the recursive network architecture. It's a secure and resilient to the attacks like port scanning, data transfer, and connection. It focused on developing the security modules for access control and data transfer to overcome the vulnerabilities. It decouples various functions of security like authentication, confidentiality, and the integrity. So this is one more architecture. It follows the three principles. Choice net. It follows the three principles. Encourage the alternatives. Vote with your wallet and know what has happened. This is almost similar to your blockchain technology. You can compare all these three functions with the blockchain technology. Then it is very easy for you to understand. You are going to encourage the alternatives, those who are going to enter into your system and they want to use the services which are present with your system, and you want to use those which are present with the other system. So you are going to encourage. The architecture should be flexible, in terms of, that is the meaning of encouragement. So it should be flexible to take the services from the other system and should be able to provide the services to the other system. Vote with your wallet is how much you are ready to pay. So based on that, the service will be provided. If you are going to pay, let us suppose AES, if you want to use the AES algorithm, then you have to pay $5, for example. So if you are going to, but still, if you want to use RSA, then $10, for example. But I'm ready to pay only $5. Then the immediately system, the server present at this end will able to decide, okay, this person is ready to pay this much, so let us provide this particular service and know what happened. So whatever the process is happening in that particular distributed network, it should be known to all the nodes present in that particular communication to fulfill that particular service. So that's the reason I have told that you can consider the blockchain as an example. So the other architectures, if we go on, then there are plenty of the other architectures which you can see, you can go through. So the other architectures are the Akari architecture, which is a Japan architecture. These people are using this particular architecture. So Future Internet Assembly of the European Union, Future Internet Design Find, NETSI and Genie of the US, Future Internet Forum of Korea. So these are the various people all around the world working to develop new architectures and introduce that architectures into the market. The example which I have informed you that where the TCP/IP has been used and where the other architecture has been used is the Bruhaspati. So it is being used in IIT Kanpur. The intranet, whatever they are using, is based on their own architecture called as Bruhaspati. And the communication to the outside world, they are using the TCP/IP. If you want more details, you can just go through that Bruhaspati architecture. So this is how the plenty of architecture. So slowly they are overcoming the TCP/IP architecture slowly, level by level. So I can say that if the intranets have been used by their own particular architectures, different various architectures, then the addressing format, then the burden on the TCP will also get reduced. So obviously when the burden on the TCP will get reduced, obviously the security, the whatever we are developing, the other protocols, those repetition of those protocols will get reduced. And once that is reduced, the function, the speed, and the functionality of the TCP/IP will be improved automatically. Okay. So this is the internet: extreme complexity, minimal understanding, high global connectivity, weak attribution of who doing what, hard to tell malicious users from legitimate ones. This is how the internet is working. Okay. So I hope I haven't bored you all. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Are these? Yes, these are the alternate architectures. These are not theoretical architectures. Some have been implemented. So Anjana has asked about that. Are these architectures theoretical alternatives of TCP/IP or implemented already? Some have been already implemented. Any other questions which I can?
Afternoon, ma'am. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, can you please explain cyber hooliganism, which you this term you were mentioned in one
Yes,
of your
it's
slides.
a combination of cyberbullying, man. Ransomware, it involves the ransomware, it involves the cyberbullying. Okay, so that's the reason we mentioned that cyber hooligans.
Please explain once more. I'm a student of MSc Cybersecurity.
Okay. You have heard about cyberbullying, right?
Yeah.
So what is cyber terrorism?
Ma'am, performing kind of activities which can be considered as crime by using digital platform or digital instruments like phone or any kind of PC.
Yes. So when you come across this, did you find like whom we are threatening?
Or any
Hello.
ma'am, any person or any system to fetch any confidential data or credentials.
Yes. So it is like a violent or destructive behavior which has been done by the cyber criminals. So it's a combination of, you can say, as a cyber terrorism and cyber bullying. Okay. They'll just come into it and they will try to have a complete control. Although for ransomware, even if you have given ransomware for them, but still they will try to pull. They will try to destruct that person, destroy that person completely. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I hope I have finished on time. Again, for the next session, we will meet at 2:30. It will be taken by the industry person.